Let me count something with you. How many men do you know who lost themselves chasing someone who wouldn't chase them back? Probably most of them, maybe even you. And if you're watching this right now, before we go any deeper, subscribe to this channel. We talk about things most people won't, the truths that make you uncomfortable but free you at the same time. Hit that button now. Now let's talk about what nobody wants to admit. The moment you put her first, something shifts. You feel it, she feels it even more. It's not about being cold. It's not about playing games. It's about something deeper, something wired into human nature, something you've been lied to about your entire life. You were told to be nice, to prioritize her happiness, to sacrifice your goals, to prove your love through submission. And what happened? She pulled away. She lost interest. She stopped looking at you the same way. And you wondered what you did wrong. You did everything right, didn't you? You texted back immediately. You canceled plans for her. You asked how her day was. You listened to every problem. You made her the center of your world, and she made you an option. Here's the part that stings. It's not her fault, not really. It's biology. It's psychology. It's the way respect works. Respect isn't given because you're available. Respect is earned through boundaries, through standards, through a life she can't fully access. When you put her first, you're communicating something. You're saying your time has no value. You're saying you have nothing else going on. You're saying she's the prize and you're the contestant. That's not attraction. That's desperation dressed up as devotion. Women don't want to be worripped. They want to be chosen by a man who has options, by a man who has purpose, by a man who would survive without her, because that man is rare. That man is grounded. That man has self-respect. And self-respect is magnetic. Let me say that again. Self-respect is magnetic. Not arrogance, not cruelty, not indifference, but a quiet confidence that says this: I value myself. I have a mission. You're welcome to join me, but I won't abandon myself to keep you. That's the energy that creates respect. Not the guy who drops everything, not the guy who needs her validation, not the guy who texts paragraphs at midnight begging for clarity, the guy who puts himself first, not in a selfish way, in a self-preserving way, because here's what happens when you lose yourself. You stop being the man she was attracted to. You become a reflection of her mood. Happy when she's happy, anxious when she's distant. Your entire emotional state depends on her, and that's exhausting for her. She doesn't want that responsibility. She doesn't want to be your purpose. She wants to be part of your purpose. There's a difference, a massive difference. When she's part of your purpose, she adds to your life. When she is your purpose, she becomes your life. And that's when the respect dies, because she sees it. She sees you shrinking. She sees you waiting. She sees you hoping. And hope without action is just fear. Fear of losing her. Fear of being alone. Fear of not being enough. And fear repels respect. Always think about the men you respect. Do they chase validation? Do they bend themselves into shapes to be liked? Do they apologize for having standards? No, they stand firm. They know their worth. They move through life with direction, and people, including women, gravitate toward that, not because it's manipulative, but because it's real, it's solid, it's trustworthy. You can't trust a man who has no backbone. You can't respect a man who abandons his path. You can't be attracted to a man who needs you more than he needs himself. It just doesn't work that way. And I know this is hard to hear because you were taught the opposite. You were taught that love means sacrifice, that devotion means availability, that being a good man means putting her needs above yours. But let me ask you this. What kind of man emerges from that? A tired one, a resentful one, a confused one, a man who gave everything and got breadcrumbs, a man who wonders why trying harder made things worse. That's not love. That's self-abandonment. And women can sense it. They can feel when you've lost your center, when you're operating from fear instead of strength, when you're performing instead of being, and it turns them off, not because they're cruel, but because attraction requires polarity. Masculine energy is directional. It moves toward a goal. It has structure, it has purpose. Feminine energy is receptive, it responds to strength, it flows towards stability. It trusts what is unmoved by chaos. When you put her first, you collapse that polarity. You become reactive. You lose your direction. You start moving toward her emotions instead of your mission, and she loses the thing she was drawn to, your groundedness. So, what does putting yourself first actually look like? It's not ignoring her. It's not being distant for the sake of it. It's having a life that matters to you. It's having goals that don't revolve around her. It's having friends, hobbies, work, passions, things that make you whole without her, so that when you choose her, it's a choice, not a need, not a dependency, a conscious decision from a place of abundance. And that's what she respects. The man who could walk away but chooses to stay, the man who loves her but doesn't need her to feel complete, the man who has standards and doesn't drop them to keep the peace. That's the man she admires. That's the man she chases, not the one doing the chasing. Here's another uncomfortable truth. When you put her first, you teach her how to treat you. You teach her that your time is negotiable, that your boundaries are flexible, that your needs come second. And once that pattern is set, it's hard to reverse because she's not going to respect you more for doing less. She's going to expect you to keep doing more until you're exhausted, until you're empty, until you finally wake up and realize you've been building her life while yours fell apart. And by then, she's usually already gone. Not because she's heartless, but because there's nothing left to respect. You have to understand something. Respect isn't optional in attraction, it's foundational. You can love someone and not respect them, but you can't be attracted to someone you don't respect. And respect comes from observing strength, consistency, boundaries, self-worth, all the things that disappear when you put her first. So stop waiting for permission to prioritize yourself. Stop feeling guilty for having standards. Stop shrinking to make her comfortable. Be the man who knows his value, who lives with intention, who doesn't apologize for taking up space, and watch what happens. She'll either rise to meet you or she'll fall away. And either way, you win because you kept yourself intact. You didn't lose who you are trying to keep someone who wasn't sure about you. That's power. That's freedom. That's self-respect. And it's the only foundation worth building on. If this message hit you, subscribe right now. We're building a community of men who choose themselves without apology. Don't just watch. Commit.